If you're a musician, college or no college, that is the question for you.
We're both living the dream, doing music full time. I'm a music producer and songwriter. X is a great music producer, engineer, mixer, and we took two separate paths, and we want to tell you exactly why. Now, to start with, I didn't go to college. I was enrolled at a university in Nashville, believe it or not, to go to college for music business, and I got a call 1 month before I was set to arrive at the university, and it was a guy in Columbus who owned a recording studio, and he said, Seth, do you want to come work for me? I need somebody to help me run the studio and produce and record bands. And I was like, shoot, yeah, I'll get paid to do it. $1,000 a month. I was rolling. A lot of ramen noodles and coffee. But it was the time of my life that I got the 10,000 hours in. And so I just jumped straight into doing it. My parents were not happy, but it turned out okay.
My story is kind of the opposite, where Seth was about to go to college and then a path into the music industry opened for him. I had no path into music, and college presented that path for me. I lived in rural Arkansas at the time. There were no studios, no producers, barely any musicians, and suddenly I found there was a school where I could go and be around like-minded people doing the exact thing I wanted to do, which was make music. Now, I went to a place called Full Sail University, and an important distinction to make is that Full Sail is a trade school. It's not a traditional university. And what a trade school is it focuses on a specific skill set. So I went to a place where I could focus exclusively on music making skills, recording, production, soldering, anything to do with making music. That's what I got to dive into. And from there, that opened the doors for me to enter the music industry.
So each of our routes had its own advantages and probably disadvantages as well too. What were some advantages of the way that you went?
I think the biggest advantage was I learned a little bit of independence, being young, being out on my own, having to find an apartment, pay my bills, all of that. I got a nice dose of social reality, if you will, being a young kid. Another huge advantage was learning how to make my time in the studio count. It got me very used to spending long hours and being there until the job was done, which when I arrived in Nashville was something I saw that not a lot of people had. People would show up for their 4-hour shift and be like, hey, I'm out of here, we'll see you later. Whereas the people that really made it and went on to do a lot more things were the people that stayed and were like, well, even though I'm supposed to leave now, the job's not done, I'm gonna go ahead and push through. Full Sail really ingrained into me that that's what you should be doing. And that was a huge, huge advantage for me. And the last advantage was I learned how to solder, which sounds like a weird advantage, but when you move up and you're getting an unpaid internship, I was able to make plenty of money at the studio because I actually knew how to fix things. So they used to give me $50 an hour to sit and solder things at the studio when I had nothing else to do. So while other people were, cleaning the plaques on the walls, I was back there getting the tin smoke in my nose, just fixing XLRs. And that made a big difference because that kept me from having to have a job while I was interning. I could just support myself by soldering cables. What were some of the advantages you found by just diving right in?
Yeah, for me, that was exactly it. I was able to just hit the ground running. I wasn't waiting on a professor or an advisor to tell me, give me an okay, it's time to go. I was able to just start doing it and ultimately build up my 10,000 hours really, really quickly. And ultimately, the big thing for me was that I was making money doing it. I wasn't making a lot of money. Like I said, I was making $1,000 a month. But I was getting paid to learn to do the thing that I ultimately wanted to do. So those were the two biggest advantages for me. So ultimately, that's why me and X went the routes that we went. But that was 20 years ago. And a lot has changed since then. Let's talk about what's changed.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's changed are the costs. Just to put it in a little bit of perspective, it was about $40,000 for me to go to Full Sail back in the day, about 20 years ago. For that same $40,000, you could get a Pro Tools rig here, so the cost was about equal. If you were an artist, it was tens of thousands of dollars to make a music video, or if you were a songwriter, hiring a demo band was tens of thousands of dollars to get into the studio and get players to play your songs. Now, it's $100,000 for that same degree program at Full Sail, whereas it's a tenth of the price to get that high-end recording rig now. $10,000 will get you an incredible recording rig. $1,000, maybe $2,000 will get you a great music video or even a demo band of A-list players in the studio to get your song cut.
Yeah, so what he's saying is the barrier to entry for music has come way down and the cost of education has gone way up. Yeah. Now, ultimately, if you want to be an artist, the biggest thing you're going to be doing is creating content. And the cost of creating that content is way cheaper now than it's ever been. Like he said, if you're a songwriter, it costs nothing to write songs. All you got to do is get good demos done. And many of the time, if you co-write with producers, the industry has adapted such that it doesn't cost you anything. At the end of the day, when you leave college, the big thing that you have that I didn't have, and this might be the only disadvantage I could think of, is the diploma. I don't have a diploma that says I graduated from XYZ University. Now, when I go into the doctor's office to get my checkup, I want to know that my doctor has a diploma. But in music, nobody cares. They care way more about your plaques on the wall or your body of work than a fancy piece of paper.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I graduated from Full Sail. I was valedictorian. I had course director's awards. I had perfect attendance. And the day I started my internship, I was on my back washing the bottom of someone's car. The diploma didn't matter a whole lot.
Yeah. So, if your diploma doesn't matter, what actually matters in music nowadays? In music, it's all about your body of work. Your body of work is the only thing that's going to get you the next piece of work. The song that you produce that somebody likes on so-and-so's record is going to be the reason that you get a call to work on the next project. The song that you wrote with one artist is going to get you attention from another artist to get into a session or a room. A performance that you did live as a performing artist is going to be the thing that gets you the next show and the biggest next show. It's all about that body of work. And ultimately, the big thing standing between you and a big, amazing body of work is time. And so how much can you shrink that time? How much can you compress that time? For me, that was one of the biggest advantages of not going to college, is that I was able to get in my 10,000 hours, so to speak, in just a short 1.5 year period working at that studio in Columbus. Whereas if I would have went to college, would I have been able to leave a 4-year degree with that same huge body of work, having worked on hundreds of different songs? Probably not.
Yeah. So what is the end goal? Music is one of those really rare industries where the metric for success is kind of whatever it means to you. And I think for most people that ends up being, I need to make a living doing nothing but music, not delivering pizzas, not being a sandwich artist, doing music and nothing else.
So in this day and age, our recommendation is to just jump straight in and do it yourself. Jump in the deep end while investing in yourself. You're not going to get anywhere if you're not willing to invest in yourself. Take the courses, go to the seminars, go to the music industry events. If you can afford to and you can find a way to resource yourself to make it work, even move to a city that will put you in proximity with the people that you need to succeed. It's not the way that it used to be, and music is not at all like other industries where the diploma is all that matters.
Why don't you comment below and let us know what you think is the right answer for you? Going to college or not going to college? But in the meantime, go, do something amazing, and we'll see you in the next one.